What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Potter Talks podcast. This is part 2 of the debut episode of Potter Talks, where we talk about the 2020 WWE draft. We get back into it as we go into night 2, Monday Night Raw picks, and the post picks from the draft. Just like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the video. Thank you very much for supporting Potter Talks podcast. But anyway, we're getting on to night 2 now.
Oh yeah, we're getting off topic a little bit.
And the first pick...
System, we'll talk about that later.
Raw is letting him in. The Fiend Bray Wyatt.
That is a good picture of a Fiend.
Number 1 on night 2. They let him in on Raw.
Let me in. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I get it. I look at it.
I can't do it.
Let me in. I didn't really do it well, but yeah. But the Fiend is on Raw now. Obviously, he's been a staple of SmackDown ever since the draft last year, and obviously changed a lot of superstars' trajectories and gimmicks. I'm going to ask Chris this first. Do you think they'll send the Fiend to go after Drew McIntyre, or do you think they'll leave him away from him?
Could go. It's honestly 50-50 with this.
Right now, I'm just interested to see where this Alexa Bliss storyline with him goes.
Yeah, I knew you'd bring that up.
Yeah.
Knowing
I'm just interested
that.
to see where it goes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I honestly wanted him to stay on, not on SmackDown. I wanted him to be on Raw, because the Roman Reigns pushes right now is just killing all the momentum he had as a top level, guy right now.
Yeah, they need to build the Fiend back up.
Yeah, which is why I think they're going for like a side gimmick. I mean, a side storyline right now that doesn't involve any championships, but it's just something that will be interesting down the line.
Yeah.
I think that's good for him, but I wanted him to be on Raw, and I think, it would be cool. And I also wanted Seth Rollins to be on Raw, so we could have that feud, Messiah versus.
Yeah, that would have been the money match after what obviously the shambles they had back about this time last year. Putting a Hell in a Cell into the Saudi Jeddah pay-per-view.
Hell in a Cell thing, or
where this match can only finish by pinfall or submission. Okay. Now you're messing about with that, okay. Anyway, it is reconnecting, so I'm just going to keep going. So obviously, if it messes up on Twitch, so be it. I believe... Yep, we're back on Twitch, okay. So next pick is the SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley. Staying on SmackDown and keeping the SmackDown Women's Championship on SmackDown.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Wait.
They might eventually kill that storyline.
Wait. So they've got both women's champions now on the same show.
No, Asuka's still on Raw.
Oh, okay.
Bayley's staying on SmackDown.
Sasha lost the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah, Sasha lost it back to Asuka, and Asuka
That's
had
why
it
she
since.
wants the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's what the Hell in a Cell match is.
Right. Hopefully the Hell in a Cell matches are.
So obviously, the role model herself staying on the show is obviously big news for Fox. Obviously, it was pretty much bound to happen that she'd stay on SmackDown, knowing that if obviously Asuka then went from Raw to SmackDown on night 1, chances were Bayley would have gone the other way.
Yeah, Bayley would have moved the other way.
But the fact that Asuka stayed on Raw made this pretty much a certainty to stay where it is. Next up is the 13-time World/WWE Champion, the Viper himself, staying on Raw. Randy Orton to continue the feud building up to Hell in a Cell for the WWE Championship against Drew. And they were fighting all night long, them two.
At least this time they're actually putting the W title inside Hell in a Cell.
I know.
God damn it, AJ versus Mojo. You should have been in Hell in a Cell.
Now they're doing this. That's gonna be a good match.
Just saying straight up that honestly, right, the way they need the Hell in a Cell for Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, because holy damn, let them two murder each other, please, for entertainment.
Chris, you got anything to add in for us? Bailey keep being on SmackDown, Randy on Raw, or has everything been said?
You're champ all the way into WrestleMania until you find somebody that you want.
Yeah.
Randy Orton, not much to say. I like the guy. Sometimes I don't like the guy, but for the most part, I love the guy. So that's all I can say.
And then the not controversial, but I kind of knew this was happening after Bianca Belair was drafted to SmackDown. Then the Raw Tag Team Champions, Montez Ford and Angela Dawkins, come to SmackDown.
I have a quick thing here. Does that mean technically speaking here, since the Raw titles are winning SmackDown and the SmackDown titles are winning Raw, do you think that technically New Day's Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are now Raw Tag Team Champions and the Street Profits are now SmackDown Tag Team Champs?
I can confirm for you here, Adam Pearce, who was Postman Pearce in the Firefly Funhouse, overlooked of the Street Profits handing the Raw belts to Woods and Kingston. As we have Gio gifting a sub to Sonic, aka the Shadow Nexus. Gio, we've had our ups and downs, but thank you very much, my friend. As I was saying, Angela Dawkins and Montez Ford passed the Raw Tag Team titles to Kofi and Woods, and Woods and Kofi gave them the SmackDown tag titles. So, as of right now, Montez Ford and Angela Dawkins are your SmackDown Tag Team Champions, and Woods and Kingston are your Raw Tag Team Champions.
They've got to switch belts, huh?
They basically handed the belts over.
Because Ember, how weird would this be if on Raw it's like Raw's new acquisition, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions? How weird would that be? It's like, yeah, and they come up with
so they had to switch the belts. Right?
Yep. That makes sense.
That make perfect sense. So now they've got the blue belts, and then New Day's got the red belts.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. That I saw that happen on the show, and I can confirm that for you as well. That did happen, and it is nice that that's happened. Anything you want to say on this, Chris? Before we get to the next pick?
Sorry, I was waiting for my opportunity, and I was what I'm gonna say is I always loved the Street Profits. I saw potential in them from day one. When I watched like a random episode of NXT, I was like, these guys got gimmicks and they got personality. I was like, I loved them too. And I think SmackDown has had the New Day for so long, they're trying to get themselves removed from that. And I don't even think SmackDown necessarily got rid of the New Day because of them being there for so long. I think it's just to separate themselves from Big E. I think that was the reason really why. And I think they just replaced the two most charismatic teams in the WWE, to different shows. And it's unfortunate because I feel like the Street Profits are building their own identity on Raw, but to me, they never really had that great opponents. So
yeah, they had the comedic stuff with the Viking Raiders.
That makes sense.
That stuff was kind of good.
I liked it. I did actually like it, but I feel when they go to SmackDown, obviously they've got Cesaro and Sheamus, who are legit tag team. Staple now of SmackDown. Obviously, we've got another tag team coming up. I'll say they've been transferred over. I've kind of gave away one of the picks. Right, in a spoiler, yeah, it is how it is. I've done that before. But the last one on this round, the Queen is back in some capacity, and she is now staying on Raw.
Back on main roster. I'm gonna say her NXT run was this time round was really bad.
They're probably gonna give her another title run.
She had the one feud with the title and then basically did nothing after that.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do it again.
Yeah, and I was just like,
it's Charlotte. There's a lot they can do with Charlotte.
Yeah, it's like your dad's I get your dad's Ric Flair, but holy fuck. Oh, holy fuck, do you need to stop being pushed? Just because your dad's Ric Flair doesn't mean you need to be pushed.
Well, she was pushed so much on SmackDown, I think Raw might take it down just a little bit.
If Raw decided to do the thing where she's beat like multiple times.
I know Chris has something to say on this.
I'll be happy with that.
I legit can't wait to hear what Chris has to say on this. I really can't wait.
If she really thinks she's the queen, she's the queen of SmackDown. She's not really the queen of Raw.
Wait. Why do you want to know what I have to say? Because you know I'm a Charlotte.
It's Charlotte. It's Charlotte.
You know I'm a Charlotte fan. You know,
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying. I want to see what you say on it.
Come on, Chris. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
First off, she's better than Bayley. Okay. Second off, for a time period, I honestly believe this because Sasha Banks sucked for a while. She's better than her for a little bit too. I'm not gonna say that decisively because I like Sasha Banks' gimmick more than Charlotte. Charlotte just needs to come back with some new identity. If she doesn't, she's gonna be screwed and people are gonna hate her forever, and she's always gonna be the same old, same old. Either that or go to AEW and go build your own identity. I don't know. Do something. Because you holding every single title is just not gonna work anymore. You need some type of real character playing off the. You're not even like Ric Flair at all. Like you just have flashy gear and say woo and steal his gimmick, steal his. There's nothing about her that's identifiable besides the fact that she's kind of tall and she's blonde and other things.
Ric Flair.
And her dad's Ric Flair. That's about it. And somebody help her with a robotic promo sometimes, but I still love her.
I think she would do well with Heyman, helping her with promos. Personally, but
yeah,
it depends on what time frame. I initially didn't think she'd be part of the draft because obviously she said she'd be out for an extended period of time just to heal up. She had injuries, but the fact that she's in it means that she's on her way back soon.
I really want to see her in a different company. I'm so keen on that at this point. I want to see her.
I'd like to see her in a different company, see how she does personally as well. But
I don't think she has a love for the business like that.
No, I don't think she does. No.
She can make like one of those like women exclusive like companies out there. Really good if she went there.
She can't be on WoW. She can't go to Japan. That's like really.
She could WoW. She could be WoW, or she could be like. Or she could come over to Britain and do Pro Wrestling Eve, which is the British one, which is the British women's one.
Also,
holy crap! I will tell you for a fact, Pro Wrestling Eve is like the best female wrestling I have ever seen in a long while.
She was last year night 2 top tier pick. In 2016, she was third, so in the first round as well. So she's every draft that they've done since 2016, she's been in the first round, whether it's over a 2-night thing or the first one in 2016, where everyone was on that night. She has legit been in the first round, whether it's the first one, the third, or the last person in the first round. She's always been in the first round of drafts, which that means something, that she is one of the biggest stars on the main roster in terms of Raw and SmackDown. To still be in the top round draft picks 4 years later, And at the same time, 2 years in a row means something.
It means something, but I think my only issue is the fact that her dad's Ric Flair, and that I feel like she's
that is an issue.
I feel like Charlotte's getting way too comfortable. She's like, oh yeah, my dad's Ric Flair. If WWE stop pushing, my dad could be in there and go, what the fuck, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, you guys know this issue for about like what, since 2015? That's
Since
like,
she came in WWE, basically.
Ever since you won the Divas title,
Divas
title.
Complaining about the same thing to me. It's just like it's never gonna change. As I said, she needs to go to a different company and try her hand there.
She needs to go to some place where her dad ain't there.
No, it's not that. She just needs to go somewhere else. She's done everything she could do here right now.
Plus, go somewhere else where she.
Opportunity, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Plus, she needs to go somewhere where she doesn't have people there that she can get in and be like top person straight away.
Yeah. Anyway, over
She
to.
probably could go to AEW and probably make the women's division better than it actually is right now.
Like this has literally been over for well over 2 hours now. We've gone through this. We're on to round 2 of night 2. Braun Strowman. I'm going to literally just quickly go through these, and then at the end we'll talk about which ones you want to go through, just so we can get through all of it. Strowman, even though was on SmackDown, obviously he turned up on Raw Underground a few weeks back. He's now officially on Raw. Even though he hasn't been seen in a while since Mania, Brian is staying on SmackDown. The original Bro is now an original Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
He's moved to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown. And
the best theme song in WWE right now is Matt Riddle's.
the KO show is now moving to Fox, as he is now on SmackDown. So the KO show is now officially on SmackDown and Fox only at the moment. And the last one in round 2 is the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy moving back to Raw.
The player basically made himself by killing himself.
Yeah.
Who remembers that?
I wonder. Wait. So if AJ's still on Raw and Jeff is on Raw, and that they were feuding on SmackDown, does that mean their feud is going to continue?
Potentially could happen. We don't know that for certain. And so we'll come back to them later on if there's an I know you want to go through. We'll go on to round 3, Retribution. Sadly, I don't actually have decent images for them, so I had to use an image like this. Retribution staying on Raw, so potentially feud with Business and so on and so forth. Lars Sullivan apparently was officially a SmackDown superstar beforehand, and now he is on. He apparently was on SmackDown before the draft.
He was on SmackDown before the whole thing, and then he had the
issues. He had the issues.
Anyway, honestly, I'm gonna quietly say this: I don't get why WWE still have him hired. Fucking hell, that shit that came out, oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of people have had to done worse and have gone. But obviously we'll get into more details with that later. Keith Lee stays on Raw, so Strowman's happy with that. Bow down for the King of SmackDown, King Corbin staying on SmackDown.
Okay.
No, with him, they need to stop that king gimmick. They need to stop.
Keep it.
I don't like it.
That's the point. You're not supposed to.
I love it. I legit love it now.
It's annoying.
It's annoying, but I love it. Anyway.
Wait. I gotta cut you off, Danny. You see,
yeah, I know.
This is the stuff I'm talking about. If a heel makes you so annoyed of him and he hates you, he's doing his job. Appreciate Corbin while you have him. He's our savior. This is why I push him nowhere, because he's good. People hate him in my stream, and people hate him here. And I love it.
That is true. I can vouch for that.
I don't like him.
That's the point of the gimmick. Anyway. Obviously the Fiend was drafted earlier on. my gut feeling that this pick was going to be announced sooner or later. Sadly, I don't have the twisted version of her as an image, but the Twisted Bliss herself is on Raw. I will go through it later, my feelings. Because obviously I want to get through the rest of it. I'm going to leave it as it is. Just before we get to Elias, obviously going to Raw, he came back and obviously there was a triple threat between Seth, AJ and Jeff. Elias hit with Jeff with his guitar. Obviously that potentially will be... Like, obviously that could be his first feud back. Obviously, apparently he's doing a concert next week. The Intercontinental Champion himself, excuse me, Sami Zayn, is staying
Sammy just
on
needed to stay gone. He doesn't do
SmackDown.
anything. He goes and cheats for his wins.
The Interactive Savior is staying on SmackDown.
He needed to stay gone.
You can talk about it later. Let me get back through all these. The sassy Southern Belle herself is moving to Raw.
Hey, good change.
Good choice.
It'll be a nice fresh air for Lacey to see what she does on Raw again.
Women's wrestler on the roster right now, Lacey Evans.
She's like the female.
The former SmackDown Tag Team Champions will probably be the Street Profits' first feuds. Cesaro and Nakamura.
Because holy God, I have a lot I can say about this.
And the fella himself has moved to Raw. That is Sheamus.
I think the actual image they
Lobster
used, the actual image they used for him.
I couldn't get the one with the hat. I wanted the one with the hat.
If they don't have him feud with Jeff Hardy, I wonder what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I can see him facing Drew later.
Triple feud! AJ, Sheamus, and Jeff Hardy.
Anywho, we're gonna get onto the Twisted Sister.
Actually, that would be insane.
The first pick of round 5, Nikki Cross moves to Raw. I'll get through why I think she should have stayed on SmackDown later.
No, I think they should keep her with somewhere near, like, she was tag team with Alexa, so I think she should be on the same brand, but still do her own thing.
Yeah. Next up is Dolph and the glorious Robert Roode moving to SmackDown from Raw. Yeah, I understand I'd rather miss Bobby, but it is what it is. Your current 7-Eleven 24/7 I-85 champion R-Truth stays on Raw. Nearly lost it on Raw Talk because AJ asked about the title. Next up is Apollo moves to SmackDown. And Shane McMahon's favourite Raw Underground superstar, Dabba-Kato, moves to Raw. And that concludes round 5.
Don't know who that is. I'm gonna guess he originally came from NXT.
The guy they got to feud with Braun Strowman.
Is someone in Raw Underground?
So then they're probably gonna continue the feud.
That's gonna continue. Next up, Titus. This is where I was like, what the hell? Titus O'Neil stays on Raw, but he hasn't been seen since Mania, when he took over the hosting from Rob Gronkowski. The untouchable Carmella stays on SmackDown.
She's going heel.
Peyton stays on Raw. Peyton's on Raw.
But she disappeared.
She's staying. Yeah, we'll get back into that later. Aleister Black moves to SmackDown, and the Ninja Hungry SOB. Stays on Raw.
See, I know my names.
Right, that's all of Raw picks done. Any that you want me to go back onto, and you can talk about it now. Because all we've got is Raw Talk and then the free agents after that.
Because we're on Carousel, I'll go on this, right?
Go for it.
I get that Akira Tozawa was Japanese, but why the fuck is on a racial stereotype that he needs to be a fucking ninja? What the fuck?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The racial stereotype is like, yeah,
Maybe he's got an MMA background but System, maybe he's got an MMA background that was never mentioned.
I think he's like there is like wrestling fully, because I remember seeing him on a couple indie shows. I'm trying to remember the companies. But I've seen him in a couple indie shows before WWE, and I'm like,
if I remember, Akira Tozawa came from 205 Live.
That is correct. He came through the Cruiserweight Classic, I believe.
To 205 Live, Cruiserweight Classic to 205 Live to then Raw.
Well, he's come a long way, all the way to the main roster.
He came back from like a tournament that they were trying to get set up for a second one.
Yeah.
They're trying to set up a Cruiserweight Classic too, but I'm like, yikes.
So
All the guys that were in the first Cruiserweight Classic, yikes, they're on the main roster and no longer in the Cruiserweights. Well, the Cruiserweights, so yikes.
Yeah.
is this the last couple of picks we're getting to now?
We got the supplement,
We've
got Raw Talk, and then the free agents. So I'm going to do them separately. I just want to say if you want me to go through any of the picks that we've had from the Raw show, we can go through it.
I have to say about one.
Which one?
Oh, I was going to say about one as well. If you can go back to Shinsuke and
Cesaro.
Which one's that? What let me find it. Round 5. Round 4. That one. There we go.
Right. I'm gonna say, right, this is Cesaro, amazing wrestler, but why the fuck, right? You guys can say whatever the heck you want against this, but why the fuck do you take Cesaro out of a tag team with Sheamus, and then it's like for a few weeks it's like, yeah, he's going solo a bit, and then put him in another tag team. It's like, I feel like you're just like, yeah, Cesaro can't do it on his own, he needs a partner.
Isn't this a similar conversation we've already had, Chris?
Yeah,
But System's getting his info. His
just like,
points about what he's saying about that.
Huh?
I'm just like, why the fuck would you take Cesaro out of like a tag team to put him in another tag team? I mean,
I like the bar. I like the bar.
See, I like the bar. You could continue having the bar be a thing and have Sheamus and all that do their separate things. You don't always have to do your thing.
I believe
When Matt Hardy get drafted to SmackDown, and then Jeff was on Raw, they would come together.
Hardy boys.
They occasionally would come together and do a thing.
Yeah.
Tag team. But I just really feel like they've shit on Cesaro. I almost said Sheamus though.
I believe the reason was that Sheamus got injured. That's the reason why that bar came to be no more.
I understand that Sheamus got injured and all that. It's just like, why would you do that to Cesaro? It's like, oh yeah, you need another tag team partner.
I think
They don't need to split every tag team up.
Exactly.
I think is what you're saying, right, System?
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, they had a concept going there. Sheamus got injured. They could have let Cesaro have a solo run for a bit, and then when Sheamus came back, they could have either had Sheamus be like, yeah, I casually want to go solo.
Right.
Not the way they've done it.
I know I want to talk about this now.
You do your thing.
Yeah, get the fanboy out.
Get the fanboy out.
Yeah.
Little Miss Bliss.
Little Miss Bliss, the double gimmick that when you said about it earlier, Ember, like Alexa Bliss having a double gimmick, that made me smile. Because the way it started off and how I have my ideas for it, because I am actually going to do it as a podcast, where I actually do the fantasy booking, and then people can then rip it to shreds after that.
We can fantasy book. Oh, that's a good idea.
Like, I've literally been watching it every week and week. And I literally feel like I'm more engrossed in this than my actual real life. And Chris knows this full well. Like, I've fanboyed over it constantly, but I think there was rumours that she wanted to do it back in 2016.
Yeah, she.
When obviously they had the Orton stuff with Bray, she wanted to be part of it then.
It's when the.
Yeah, but she is doing a double gimmick. She's doing her normal Alexa Bliss gimmick, and she's doing the Sister Abigail. She's doing a double gimmick right now.
I'll tell you for a fact that Bray Wyatt, whenever he decided, he started teasing Sister Abigail, and then Alexa Bliss was like, "Here comes my moment to do something I've always wanted to do," and do like the double gimmick.
And this is why they decided her. She said it.
Then WWE decided they weren't hot on. They were not hot on Bray Wyatt anymore, and then Alexa Bliss basically got the idea shot down, and she was like, "What the hell?" And
Like,
now she's doing it. Now she's doing it.
They do the Fiend. Years later, they do the. Now they're doing the Fiend, and they're like, "Alexa, you know that gimmick you wanted to do back in the day? You still got that? You still got that idea?"
I feel this is a rehash, but an updated rehash
it's creepy, but I like it.
If you all remember Adam Blompier, who used to be part of What Culture, who's now part of Wrestle Talk TV.
Oh yeah, they're just Wrestle Talk nowadays. They're no longer TV. I don't get.
Yeah,
why,
we can go through that a different day system. I've got a lot of beef I want to say about it, but
I'm ready for this.
Take that to a private call, you two.
We'll take that to a different podcast. But the main thing is with that is like obviously Alexa Bliss asked to be part of it, and I believe what Adam Blompier booked for that is a rehash. WWE have seen this and thought, nah, it's no good point doing it then. We'll do it now, but we'll make it our own. But using the idea of Alexa Bliss as Sister Abigail being the intelligent one, like being cleansed and stuff like that. The only thing that hasn't changed is that Alexa Bliss hasn't dyed her hair black compared to what it is. But the fact that Bliss, mainly that storyline that Blompier did was Bliss was in control of Bray. Whereas this is the opposite way around, but it's also the Harley and Joker gimmick built into it, as that's a lot of fan theories have said. Which you can actually see happen. You can see it is like that. And the fact that Alexa Bliss did the thing in the corner after Andrade lost to Garza.
It's the inspiration for one of Alexa's logos. Like,
Go on, Chris, you want to say something by the looks of it? The floor's yours.
No, I'm just casually listening to this fanboy rant about Alexa Bliss.
Fanboy rant about Alexa Bliss.
It's like,
okay, you guys can fanboy in another podcast. You guys can fanboy. Fanboy in another podcast.
Chris has said this all the time. Chris says this 24/7 when we're chatting.
Yeah, it's like when I hear this, I just get the side.
I'm not.
No, I meant
like,
Danny. I meant Danny, not you.
I'm just like amazing wrestling. Meh. But Danny, otherwise it's fanboy.
But me and you will talk later about this.
Apart from that, I've got rid of the fanboying. Well, any other shocks other than obviously we've already gone through the Street Profits stuff. Retribution, obviously not having Mercedes Martinez as she's been quietly moved back to NXT.
Oh yeah, she quiet. Oh, I remember reading. What was one? I remember reading online that rumors were that she was like the debut happened. Mercedes Martinez is just like, yeah, yikes, get me out of there. This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for being a badass group, not signed up to talk trash. Like, she basically just was like, yeah, what we're doing with Retribution, I don't want to be a part of, because I don't want my reputation.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, another one with Retribution. I didn't realise the guy in the hockey mask is Shane Thorne. I'm like,
Yeah, it is Shane Thorne.
Watch. I'm like, hold up, he's still with WWE. I thought they let him go like ages ago, and silently we're just like trying to not talk about that.
So we've got David Curvy. We've got
Dijakovic. So we've got Dominic Dijakovic. We have Dio Madden.
Shane Thorne, and Mia Yim, and Ali.
And Ali's leader. That's everyone. So.
Do you think? I know. I'll get him back up on here.
Yeah. So people don't think, well, so why talk about Retribution when fucking like the plus someone's going.
I'll put it back on. Like, do you think the SmackDown hacker, obviously with the stuff with Ali, is linked to Retribution?
Oh, that could be. Could be.
I know this could be a topic for another podcast. And you can explain. We'll explain it there. I just want a yes or no answer for this.
Maybe.
Maybe is an answer.
I'm saying the one of could be a prelude.
I would say
That's
yes.
why I'm leaving that.
Yes for me.
Right. What we'll do now is we'll go to Raw Talk, which obviously the first draft pick out on Raw Talk was the #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship that's happening next Monday night.
Wow.
Lana was the first one out.
Wow, Lana being picked. What? I have missed a lot with Lana and shit like that, man. Damn.
Lana and Natalya broke up on Raw after losing to Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke.
Okay.
And because of that,
women's tag team title.
yeah, I thought they were going to build towards that, but they're not. As Natty herself is now on SmackDown.
Okay.
Next up on Raw is, I think, Chris, you've used him in a jobber role in the Interactive Family, Riddick Moss.
Oh no.
That is not what we do. We use him as a sufficient way to
He's using enhancement talent. That's
Yeah.
what we go with.
No. I do not use your insider terms, guys.
He has his own way of doing it.
I like to say he is a sufficient talent that helps us get to ends to a means.
Yes.
Thank you, Riddick.
He is now on Raw. He's saying on Raw.
Whoa, who is that?
That is Riddick Moss. And I'm not. Next up, after that, is the team.
Ember,
Go ahead.
I'll quickly let me go. Basically, Ember, he was brought in as part of the whole shenanigans with the 24/7 title.
He was part of the 24/7 title and then went into Raw Underground last few weeks.
Yeah, that's about it.
I refuse to call these two ladies the actual name. I'm calling them the team of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott going to SmackDown, where it all began for them.
The Riot Squad. Oh, okay.
They have said they are not the Riot Squad. They've been dubbed the Riot Squad by announcers, graphics. However, they said it's the team of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott.
I remember, like, they never officially said, plus, FYI, Ruby Riot's YouTube page is, like, the best shit ever.
So,
like, out of all wrestlers, she makes her YouTube videos just, like, the fucking wholesomest thing ever. She's like, yeah, we're doing this thing this week.
I'd still to watch the Chicken Poo one.
Yeah.
I've watched the first beginning bit of it. I ain't had a chance to.
I saw most one. Half these people I've accidentally discovered, like, half the rest of them I've accidentally discovered on Twitch and then found out their YouTube page from that.
Yeah, like, we'll go back into them later with, like,
we do a podcast on WWE forcing the
and the last one for Raw, I don't even have a clue who the fuck this guy is. This guy, Arturo Ruas.
Oh, he's one of the
Sufficient talent that's about to give me a great lending hand. Thank you for reminding me.
Saudi. I think it's one of the Saudi Arabia signings that they secretly signed under.
He was under the NXT banner, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah,
He's the only NXT member to be put in the draft.
You You know who Mansoor is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Who that?
Mansoor.
The guy who is unbeaten in Saudi Arabia.
Basically, everybody they had a bunch of trials in Saudi Arabia when they did the first crown jewel, like the first.
It was the Greatest Royal Rumble, wasn't it?
Oh no, yeah, it was
Around that time.
So when they did Greatest Royal Rumble, basically, if I remember rightly, they signed Mansoor, they signed a couple others, and then they signed him, and they haven't done much with him, but I'm like, I'm excited to see where it goes. Mansoor, on the other hand, I'm like, Mansoor, you're good.
As of...
if you think about it, basically Mansoor, best way I can describe it is he basically looks like the Saudi Arabian version of Ali, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is literally how I can describe him. I'll even find a picture and send you it right now, and you could probably tell me I'm right.
So, as who was left from night 2, as of this point, is Billy Kay, Eric of the Viking Raiders, Tamina, Selena Vega, and Andrade. They were the ones left after this full of people. Now we go on to some post-draft picks. Two of these happened on October 12th, so just before Raw started. These were announced. 2 of them were announced from Pool 1, and the rest of them were on social media as of today, effective of October. So we're going to start off with the one that was announced during WWE's Monday Night Raw Watch-Along Special. Great Metal League and Lindsay Dorado going to Raw. Sadly for Twitch, I don't actually have the clip of me asking Ryan JB about if he knows anything about Lindsay Dorado happening. However, for YouTube, I'm going to make sure that's in now. Has Lindsay said anything to you about roughly where he thinks Lucha House Party are going to end up since they were drafted?
I can't share that.
Come on.
You know, I can't.
I want the scoops.
I can't. All I can say
I
is,
want the scoops.
Danny, there's only one thing I can say. There's one thing I can tell you. Tune in to SmackDown on Fridays. Tune in to Monday Night Raw. Don't miss the action, baby. Don't miss it.
Trust me, I'll be watching Raw this week. They've been broken up. Lucha House Party is officially no more. Kalisto is on.
I will say one thing on the Lucha House Party thing. Basically, that was like 3 luchadors that they thought could make it as a team, and surprisingly made it as a team. But I was always under the impression of, really, why would you put Kalisto with 2 other guys who basically don't need Kalisto's help? So
Lucha Dragons 2.0.
Yep. Except they've added a 3rd member.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is honestly what I feel like. So I feel like Kalisto's Kalisto, obviously, but the other member that made up Lucha Dragons would be Grand Metal League. I know Sin Cara is the actual OG one, but 2.0 would be Grand Metal League and Kalisto for Lucha Dragons, and then they were just like, we can't have Lucha Dragons 2.0.
Let's make Lucha House Party.
Shoving a 3rd guy. And name them Lucha House Party, or some dumb name. I feel like that's like one of those names that they called out at like one of the meetings, and Vince is like, Lucha House Party.
Yeah.
And then Vince just went, I already have them in the team. I already have. Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe this is a helpful talent for Chris, in the eyes of Chris right now.
Yeah, a helpful talent. Go ahead.
Am I right or am I wrong?
House Party?
Grand Metal League and Lindsay Dorado.
No, they're a serious, legitimate tag team.
Okay, they're a legit tag team. Got you.
Next one I have for you is Billy Kay. This was announced today that she is moving to SmackDown. Obviously, they had the breakup with Peyton Royce after
I'll tell you for a fact, I'm still raging on the fact that Iconics are no more. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? They were like, basically, if you were looking for tag teams for the legit belt.
Considering the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions themselves.
Yeah, I watched that WrestleMania match and was just like, that is some good shit.
Yeah. Like, I'm annoyed that that stipulation was added in when they faced the team of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I still laugh at the fact. I'm like, yeah. Riot Squad's backing in. It's like, wait a minute, no, they're not. They're not actually calling themselves that. What the hell?
Yeah, let's just hope they have something to offer as solo superstars.
Yeah, I'm still pissed at that fact because I'm like, why would you split up like your most legit, like your legit female tag team, like the most legit tag team you had there in the division?
Yeah, that is
Like
very, very true, very true.
Oh yeah, let's take this team that's really, really popular and makes our women's tag division as best as it is, and let's just go. You go over to SmackDown. Don't give a shit. Oh, you stay here in Raw. That's where you belong.
This basically is the final nail in the coffin for the women's tag titles. Pretty much.
Yep.
Next up.
Practically, they made the women's tag belts just so they could be like, look, we're letting the women have tag belts as well.
Yeah, it was a publicity stunt. It was pretty much a publicity stunt for that.
They haven't had a good tag team that actually ran with those titles, besides after Iconics.
Well,
Next
you
up,
can blame, Sasha and Bailey for
yeah,
that,
you can do. But yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So next up is Eric of the Viking Raiders was on Raw. That was announced today. Next one is Tamina staying on SmackDown. That was announced today.
Bad decision. Sorry.
They get going to SmackDown because obviously Aleister Black was drafted there last night.
Boy, they hate people.
I will say for a fact that technically out of all the couples in WWE, I'm just like Jolene and Aleister. It's like they're a couple like outside WWE, but inside WWE, it's just like you would never tell that they're a couple.
Yeah, the interactions between them it's like it's not there.
I remember there's a clip online. There's a clip on YouTube I watched, and it's Aleister Black hits a black mass on Andrade, and Selena Vega's face is just like, what the fuck have I witnessed?
Yeah.
She's like proper shocked on that one, which is quite funny.
Like, she knew it was coming, but the reaction, she can sell.
She's like, okay, this is gonna have to happen. She has to sell it because she's like cameras on face, and she's like, holy shit.
The last person is Shorty Geek himself is staying on SmackDown. Therefore, the two people undrafted and currently still free agents from the draft polls is Andrade, which I'm feeling will probably stay on Raw because Charlotte's there, and Mickie James. I'm going to ask this question about Mickie James before you say anything. Do you think Mickie James will go to NXT?
She goes to NXT. It's fine.
A
lot of us are annoyed, Cameron.
But she goes to AEW.
Oh my god.
So he's out of contract, leaves, goes to AEW.
Or she could go to or she could say
NWA.
Right, she could say NWA because Nick Aldis is there.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, guys.
That's the one that you always keep forgetting, wrestling couple-wise, is like, Nick Aldis out doing his whole thing with the NWA World title, and then Mickie James still in WWE. Like,
I'm sorry.
Like, you keep forgetting.
I'm sorry, System Shock. I don't recognize NWA as a real company anymore. Like,
yeah, no. NWA, like, I'm gonna say it was a company until COVID, and then since then it's like
it's dead in the water. Since you guys lost Jim Cornette, and you guys lost James Storm and Boom Boom Coke Cabana.
Oh.
That company is basically dead. I'm sorry.
Also, bad news, Barrett.
That company is dead. Plus, right, this still makes me laugh at the fact that the NWA was bought off of fucking Smashing Pumpkins lead singer. It's like, yeah, I want to be a rock star. Plus, I want to own like a wrestling company from like the 70s.
He had shares in TNA, don't forget.
Yeah, TNA.
But anyway.
Yeah, we need to move on because we're not talking about WWE.
Right, on the podcast we ran about wrestling, I've got a lot of shit I can say on Jim Cornette.
We'll leave that for another day.
Leave that for another one.
But, honestly, notable absentees from the draft polls was Becky Lynch, obviously, due to being on maternity. Big Show, Dallas, apparently still employed by the company.
Yeah, that's the funny one. It's like Bo Dallas goes from funny one. Bo Dallas goes from NXT champion to basically not being seen ever on TV. How badly must you hate a person to be like, yeah, you're NXT champion one day, the next day you're like, do I have anything? It's like, no, stay home.
You've also got, I know Chris is going to probably talk about this in the podcast that we're going to do, but the Forgotten Sons, especially Riker.
Oh my god, this one, right?
The issues that he's done.
Right? This one annoys me, right? Forgotten Sons, they have Jackson Riker, right? Oh, right, okay, his controversy and all that with the WWE. His controversy on Twitter, that whole thing is okay. But god damn it, why the hell just put him in the video game? Like, out of everybody you could have picked out of the Forgotten Sons that you would know, put Blake in there and you've got someone that everyone knows. Because of Blake and Murphy.
Exactly. Also, Ivar is currently out with a neck injury.
By the way, I feel like, right, this is honest opinions here about the Viking Raiders. Basically, they came in with War Machine, and then after that, they did fuck all.
They had to change names because of legalities.
I get it, they change names because WWE's like, you can't legally, it's like because Japan legally owns the War Machine name. You legally can't use that, I get that, but to bury them after having like the best run in NXT ever.
Also, we can't hinder him. Jinder Mahal, who's obviously out for a knee injury.
Chad Gable.
I haven't got images for these people because I didn't.
I refuse to call him Shorty G. He is Chad Gable to me.
Yeah, he's still Chad Gable. I will say if I find.
Yeah, I'm the same, but it is it is. Anyway, Jimmy Uso's obviously out with an injury. Jinder Mahal's out with an injury. Obviously, Glenn Jacobs as Kane obviously is currently in the mayor of Knox County, so he makes sporadic appearances. Obviously, Maurice hasn't been part of WWE TV for a while, obviously because of the baby, looking after the kids. And Mojo Rawley also wasn't part of the polls. His last appearance was June 19th.
That's one where I say that Mojo Rawley.
October 11th, 2020, in the 8-man Battle Royale match. Don't forget, Danny.
Well, Mojo Rawley was in that.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, he was.
It says on here June 19th.
No.
Yeah, June 19th, that was last name, so.
Give Mojo a goddamn push, though.
I'm gonna say.
Push him.
Give Mojo a mid-card title run, and oh my god.
Yes.
I feel like when Zack Ryder or whatever the fuck he's known as nowadays, Matt Cardona or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
When they were like the Hype Bros, I was like, okay, Mojo Rawley's a bit goofy, but I'm like, I'm okay with him. Mojo Rawley went singles, I'm like, I don't like him, but at least you need to give him something.
Right, we're gonna go through certain names that are undrafted that are part of the polls, and if they were to come back, where do you think they'd be? Or Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or leave WWE? They're your 4 options. Becky Lynch.
Raw.
Becky Lynch.
Listing off all the people when they come back, where would they be?
So Becky Lynch when she comes back from maternity. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or leave WWE?
Sorry, I went to go eat. I'm like out of it right now.
Alright, we'll go Chris then.
SmackDown.
SmackDown. Bo Dallas.
Oh, I'd say NXT.
Just get a paycheck while you can, bro. That's all I can say.
So, get the paycheck, leave WWE.
No, don't leave WWE.
Oh, right, okay.
Stay there and just get a paycheck.
The extra option is, we'll say just get a paycheck, bro.
Get a paycheck, okay? The fifth option is get a paycheck.
Yeah, get a paycheck.
Jinder Mahal.
Raw.
Get a paycheck.
Go Raw.
This might be controversial, knowing that Jey Uso is on SmackDown and Naomi's on Raw. Where do you think Jimmy Uso will end up once he comes back from his knee injury?
SmackDown. There's no chance WWE will ever split up the Usos. And if they try to, the Usos will basically be like, fine then, we're leaving. Because honestly, you've never split up the Usos ever.
Okay, so which Uso is married to Naomi?
Jimmy.
And Jimmy's the one that's not drafted yet?
He was not included in any of the polls, so...
So if he goes to Raw, he'll be with Naomi.
If he goes to Raw, he's with Naomi. If he goes to SmackDown, he's with his brother. Or if he goes to NXT, he makes his own solo career. If he leaves WWE, gets a paycheck, he gets a paycheck. Or he leaves WWE.
The only reason I say SmackDown is because WWE won't have the balls to break up the Usos. Watch this. This podcast comes out a month down the line. It's like, you know what, System? You said WWE didn't have the balls to split up the Usos. Look what they did.
They split the Usos up. If that happens, I'm going to make sure you're on the podcast. I apologise that I'm cut you off there, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I said they already did technically, but I don't want to get into it because,
That's something we can talk about.
No, this is like something we already talked about.
Yeah,
so.
we can talk about privately. Anyway. Mickey James, currently not on a show. Assuming Andrade is probably going to stay on Raw because of Charlotte. And that'll break up the partnership with Zelina Vega.
That's another one that they wouldn't do. They have, because whatever Charlotte's been, they've always put Andrade on the other brand.
Yeah, send Andrade back to NXT.
Yeah, I would send
that I wouldn't mind.
That I wouldn't mind, because here's thinking. Turn Andrade face, send him back down NXT, I don't care if it's North American Championship or NXT Championship between him and Johnny Gargano, but have it face Andrade versus heel Johnny in NXT. I would lose my shit.
I would as well, to be fair.
Because it'd be fair, because then you could either bring Selena with them down in NXT, back to NXT, and have the Garganos feuding with them too.
Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with ripping apart, not teams, but couples? Like, I really don't care about it.
No, to be fair, I wouldn't mind seeing Andrade go back to NXT.
I'm actually okay with couples being kind of ripped apart, because here's the thing. Yes, you're in a business with your husband or wife, but it's your job. You don't need to see them while you're working. You see them at home.
That's the funny one. The best way I've ever heard that wrestling's ever been described as like a job is like somebody's like, so how do you explain your job to someone if you?
But still, it's like if you. It's like if you're.
I think it was Kofi Kingston in interviews like, yeah, I get to go to work and I get to beat up my coworker with no repercussions. And I'm like, that is the best way you just describe wrestling in general. It's like, what do you do for a living? Yeah, I get to go to work and my coworker, I get to punch him in the face. Like, what? You get to punch your coworker in the face?
No, but like couple-wise.
The whole couple thing, I'm just like, okay, you're in a
like business. I was saying, you see each other at home. You don't need to.
Yeah, to get back to the point, it's like I don't give a damn because I'm very cutthroat. This is wrestling. This is a business. Your job is to entertain people and get people to be entertained. If you have such a problem with that, you don't need to be in a business if you want to make couple dynamics about. You want to make your relationship about everything.
But
I'm sorry, I don't give a damn about it anymore.
The only couple that I would say like is the one of needs to stay together is what's the face Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. That's the only couple I would say needs to be together just to
We haven't seen them.
Make their shit work. Yeah,
they got released during the pandemic. They were one of the people that left during the pandemic.
People will let go.
They're together, but my whole point about these couples being ripped apart is just because it's just like if you got better opportunities to do something, go and do it. Stop latching on to being a wrestler. Like I swear, some of these wrestlers, man, they just get in their little feelings and shit, and they think life is always about them. And they forget like we're not supposed to know you're in relationships. That's another problem about kayfabe. They always want to make everything about them, and it's like once you're not getting to know opportunities, and you have to go on Twitter to be like, hey, get Naomi a chance. It's just like it's annoying.
Look at Lana.
You should have made your own chance.
Look at Lana Rusev years ago when they were part of a storyline, and then they broke kayfabe and told people they were getting married.
Where's WWE anymore?
Yeah, he's in AEW under his real name Miro.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they were better apart. Like after a while, they became better apart.
Yeah.
And then,
But they're still married, right?
Yeah, they're still married.
They're still married. So CJ, aka Lana.
Once they put them back together, that's when things fell apart.
Yeah.
But Miro, aka Rusev, or formerly known as Rusev, because he's legal and not allowed to call himself Rusev no more. Because that's the whole WWE name thing.
Yeah, well,
And
different
then
brand.
He's in AEW doing his whole thing with Kip Sabian.
Gonna be
Doing his whole
false.
thing of being Kip Sabian's best man for his wedding, and he's the best man. Boom. So that's that. What else?
People need to get in their minds. You got goals to strive for, and just don't make it about your relationship the whole time. Anyways, yeah, let's move on. Let's move on, guys.
That's pretty much it. That's the entire draft done.
Very much it, people.
The draft has finally been done. How long did it take? Like nearly 3 hours last time when we did it, Chris. When we did it last year.
3 hours too long.
3 hours too long, but it was very long to get through it.
Yeah.
Then obviously we had Gio and I think Alex was around when we did it last time. Obviously this time it's a little bit different. Obviously the only person returning other than myself is Chris. Obviously you've got Ember and System. There will be.
Return. You almost canceled me out, but no.
I literally just started it, and I said to you at the time, I said, if you're around, I'll get you in. If not,
dude, I was I told you, I'm on a focused diatribe today. Okay.
Yeah, I know you are. So yeah, thank you both, Chris and System, for being part of this Potter Talks first podcast where we talked about the WWE draft. Chris will obviously joining me later on this week as we will go through a YouTube exclusive Potter Talks podcast where we get to go inside the brain of him.
Why I gotta seem so narcissistic though? Like I want it to be all about me.
No. It's not that. It's not that. It's not just that. It's like we get into the mindset of how you book things and why you hate everything.
Just let them do their thing.
Like
I'll go hang out with you.
Like the way you go through stuff. Like it's gonna be methodical and stuff like that. That's gonna be interesting to say the least.
Danny, you keep explaining it for me. I'm not narcissistic. This is not what it is. What it is I'm just gonna go on a tirade about why I hate WWE and why I hate wrestling. It's simple as that. It's nothing about me. I don't think I'm God or anything. You know?
To be fair, I should have just let you just explain it. That'd be better.
Yeah. Stop trying to make me look like the bad guy. Like I'm not some like tyrant.
I was just taking though.
Yeah, Danny. Jeopardizing my character, man.
Let's say on Twitch, I thank Demo for the tier 3 sub and Gio for gifting a sub to the Shadow Nexus. I thank you very much for that. Any last words from any of you three before I end the stream?
Oh, that was abrupt.
System, I believe he's leaving because he's about to do his thing.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, damn it. I was gonna go say, hey, let's go. System! Stay in here. I'm trying to tell you something.
No. I was. No, actually, I accidentally hit private chat and I was like, what? I was like, what? I was on
Yeah. I was just gonna say I like meeting you guys and spending this time with you guys.
You have new friends, Chris. You have new friends. You need new friends.
You have new
Yes.
people.
Come to your stream, you come to my stream. Hey, we all become friends. Yeah.
Don't forget it.
Yeah.
Danny would.
System's gonna be going live here in a couple minutes. So.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
why.
be going live in like an hour, but Danny seemed to forgot.
I'm
So.
like,
I mean, I hadn't done that anyway.
Damn it, Danny.
I always get blamed for everything, but any party words from any of you three you want to say?
Of course.
Tell him that's all.
any party words is don't be a dick. That's all I'm saying.
And bet.
Sorry, I speak my mind.
We like saying Pokey.
No! Wait, God damn it.
I like System's
Danny!
closing message.
My closing words are don't be a dick.
Yeah, I like his closing statement. That's
See? Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
I might say that. I might say that.
Yeah,
catchphrase
it's
at the
don't
end
be
of
a dick, don't be a dick, don't be
By
a
the
dick.
way, where I got the don't be a dick thing from is there's the wrestling company Progress Wrestling down in England. Their phrase, their whole thing is don't be a dick. It's because they have one rule. It's like you enjoy. It's like they have like one unspoken rule is enjoy the wrestling, and the one spoken rule is don't be a dick. Because they have a whole thing where they have this thing before they start their shows where they're like, yeah, don't pirate us, don't illegally stream us, and they have the whole legal speaking, and they're like, yeah, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
That's
Found you. I found you.
that's the whole much for the.
Here's a sec, guys. Chris Carson is at twitch.tv/ChrisCarson, Ember Cyclones, twitch.tv/EmberCyclone97.
Yeah.
And then Systems at twitch.tv/SystemShocktv. For the YouTube, it'll be in the description below, and also I'll try and get it in the eye. Thank you all for coming on. This is the debut of Potter Talks. I'll see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. Ciao.